What's up, everyone? It's Jordan, aka Whiskey Coffee, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about something a little bit different that isn't covered very frequently, but I feel is important, and that is the challenges that people in the military face when keeping aquariums. So we all know that with the military comes deployments, and those deployments can range a lot in time or length, frequency. But one thing is for sure is that at any point in time, you will ship out and be away from your home, your family, and your aquarium. So the important question is, when you leave, who does the responsibility of the aquarium shift over to? Because ultimately, say it's my aquarium. I love tinkering with it, doing the maintenance, keeping it up. And my wife loves the aquarium. She thinks both of them are very beautiful and loves to look at them. But at the end of the day, I sort of own the maintenance and upkeep. And fortunately, my wife has accepted, and we've come up with a plan that when I go on deployment, she will take care of them. So there's a lot of considerations there as far as how advanced the aquariums are going to be and what sort of involvement is required. So as far as my freshwater tank, that pretty much just consists of trimming the plants, which is completely optional. She didn't trim them at all during my last appointment, and that was fine. I just trimmed them when I got back, and then I set up very easy instructions, as far as what to dose. Before I go underway, I have a checklist. Regardless of where my CO2 cylinder is at, I swap it out with a brand new one, so that's good for a couple months. And then I give my canister filter a really good cleaning, so that way I know it's good to go for a couple months. And then that's it. Like I said, feeding, water change here, there, and the top offs, and that tank's good to go. Now with reef tanks, they can be a lot more advanced. And there's a lot of sort of emergencies that can occur, seemingly just overnight. And the question you want to ask yourself is, is my spouse prepared to deal with this? Do they have the knowledge, the resources? If a bulb goes out, do they know how to replace it? If a pump goes bad, do they know how to replace it? Do you have friends and family that can help out? Now, like one thing for myself, I live on a military base, so only military personnel and dependents are allowed on the base. So, I have a really good friend who's into aquariums, very knowledgeable. I know that in an emergency he would come over and take care of my tank for me. However, that would have to be almost like prearranged with my wife, because she would have to go off base, pick him up, and escort him on. And that's just one extra step in that process. It's I can't just give a buddy of mine a key and just have him check in on it every once in a while. I mean, this all has to be, like I said, prearranged with my wife to get him on to the base. So if you live out in town, that's not an issue, but just many people in the military choose to live on base. And then the other aspect that I wanted to cover is everyone in the military sooner or later will move. I mean, that is a given. Whether you are re-enlisting or getting out, you're never going to permanently stay in one area. And I can say that recently, a year ago, I moved from Connecticut to Washington, and that was just breaking down my whole tank was a huge fiasco. It added to the stress of having to move our entire house across the country, and I had about a 20% survival rate with my fish. That's mainly due to the fact that we were moving in the winter and the temperatures were very, very inconsistent. And the plants all survived. I mean, the plants really didn't care. I just threw them in a bucket and just got them like an hour or two of sunlight a day, and they were happy. Now with saltwater tanks, the ecosystem is just so finely tuned, and we monitor it, and saltwater tanks are often very sensitive. So something you want to consider is, if you have several $1,000s into your tank, is it worth the risk to try to move that all the way across the country? Or are you going to break the whole tank down and sell it and probably lose some money? Because while you may have $2,000 into the tank, that does not mean that someone is just going to buy the tank for $2,000. I mean, ultimately you're going to have to take a little bit of a hit when you resell it. So that's just something, you know, I'm not trying to dissuade anyone from having an aquarium. It's just something, are you willing to, you know, number one, is your spouse willing to take care of the tank while you're gone? And what are your contingency plans in case of an emergency? And two, ultimately, are you okay with selling the tank when you move and taking a loss, or taking the risk and trying to move it across the country and potentially not only losing money but also losing livestock, you know, corals. Some of your corals might be very expensive. So for me personally, both my tanks I feel are very beautiful, but there are things that I'm waiting to do with them until I get, you know, out of the military, or I'm at a point where I'm a little bit more stable and I can sort of plan more long term. So anyway, I don't want this video to go on for too long. Those are just two crucial points that I kind of wanted to bring up, and I would love to hear for anyone who's watching this in the military, what has your experience been? What are your successes? What are your failures? And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I always appreciate that. If you want to see more videos like this, specifically with my reef tank or my freshwater tank, subscribe. I try to do videos every couple weeks with updates, and I share my successes and my failures. And if you just have any questions, comments, concerns, drop a comment, and I try to respond to everyone. So thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.